Hey guys, welcome to our still sick review of House of the Dragon. We're in separate locations at the tail end of being sick. We'll be back together soon and doing my work, but in the meantime, all three of us have had the opportunity to watch HBO's newest hit show. And surprisingly, guys, it actually broke records. It made more viewership than any of the previous in freaking 8 of Game of Thrones that left an incredible bad taste in my mouth where I haven't played any of my Game of Thrones board games or any of my miniatures games, nothing. I just wanted nothing to do. And this is going to focus on everybody's most popular house, Targaryen, with tons of dragons flying around. They make a point of showing you those flying dragons. What do you think of House of the Dragon from HBO?
I actually did enjoy this first episode. Matt Smith knocked it out of the park. I was looking over his blonde wig. It looked weird, but I got over it pretty quick.
Yeah.
But his character is just phenomenal.
He looks fucking ridiculous, but yeah, watching a whole hour of the episode, he does convince me. He is the star of the show. I want to have sex.
Have sex, excel. Put my hands against, put my best against, put my 10 a 10, or put my spend a spend.
I want to have sex. It reminds me of the
Morbius
fucking
character, yeah.
Morbius
No.
character. And he actually does have sex in this episode. They do return.
Well, he tries. He's pushing rope.
he's he's a little unenthusiastic about it, but they do some Game of Thrones sex scenes here for you in case you were wondering whether HBO would do something like that.
Put my 10 a 10, or put my spend a spend. Have sex,
In this day and age, they do. So, what did you think, Alex?
I mean, I'm also in the same boat as you that, the Game of Thrones for me has been kind of, on its whole, completely ruined.
Yeah.
Season 8 kind of undoes everything. I don't want to watch even the earlier seasons because you watch something and you're like, oh, none of this matters. All this stuff disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was reading the 172 years before Daenerys, I was actually thinking, well, it's like 170 something years before Bran.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the greatest story before he becomes king. But I thought that I was trying to be as objective as possible and kind of give this its own shot, and it surprised me. It was way better than I expected.
Yep.
I think that the dialogue is pretty good. I don't think it's like peak of Game of Thrones, but it's super solid. I think the world building's interesting. I think they're setting up something cool. I got whiffs of stink that is not their fault at all. I mean, they were showing us scenes that reminded me of awful scenes from season 8. And then there was a couple moments in the show where they remind you what could have been and wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is if I try to just judge it purely on its own, I think this is a pretty solid start.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with both of you there. I think begrudgingly, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a solid episode. It gets me interested in watching more. It was very, very clever for them to set this first episode in a tournament. So we can get some of that action, so we can get a little preview, a little taste of that. There's political intrigue. There's the throne. Who takes the throne next? The succession. This uncle character, of course, our Morbius, Matt Smith character, and his unpredictability, and then the potential of it, because I know a little bit about it. The heirs of the dragon, the dance of dragons in the books. It's only a small part that has been covered, so the show can get very creative with certain aspects, and the show has already changing some things from the book, I think. We'll see. And it was well done, and good action scenes, good intrigue, good acting. Some people looking a little weird, I think. Of course, Matt Smith, the wig, some of the stuff he's wearing. But then when he puts on that badass Black Knight armor, I was like,
I figured you would like that.
all is forgitten.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, except for
shit.
there's no faceplate in a Lance
Fucking
tournament.
awesome.
That's the dumbest fucking thing possible.
Yeah,
When you look that cool, you
he
gotta
is
show
arrogant.
it off, Alex.
Arrogant
Yeah,
as
okay. Until he goes blind because he gets a splinter in his eye.
And then our mini Daenerys, what's her name? Ray. Let's see. Gosh.
Rihanna. Wait.
No, it's not
Yes,
Rihanna,
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
That is
Joe.
definitely her name.
Yes,
Ray.
Rihanna.
Fuck.
It's
No, Joe's
Ray
close. Joe's close.
Rainra.
Rihanna.
Rhaenyra?
I'm gonna give it to Ray. I'm gonna give it to Joe. I can't fucking say her name. Give me. None of us can. Nobody wants to step up. Rainra. They say it in the show a bunch of times, but I've been editing
Get
a bunch
used
of
to
other
it
movies.
next episode.
Yeah. I think there's intrigue with the how the hand of the king. You got all these advisors whispering into the king's ear, who should succeed. You've got the brutal tendencies of Daemon Targaryen, who we've been talking about. The queen who never was has some intrigue and potential for some storylines, and her husband, Lord Corals Valerian. Um, and so there's great potential in the series, and it's crazy, but it may seem like HBO has another hit, not only in viewership but in interest in its. I just hope that George R. R. Martin at one point will finish the mainline series. And at least this series does, we kind of know where this is going to end. If you're a book reader, if you understand the lore, you know.
That Bran becomes king because he's got the best story. Duh.
That
Remember?
Arya Stark
Don't you guys
kills the
remember?
White
Daenerys loses
Walkers.
her mind.
Do you remember
Torches
they
everybody for no
mention in this series the Song of Ice and Fire, and I'm like, please don't do that. Don't do that. That there needs to be a Targaryen, in there because they are the ones that can help stop the White Walkers. I'm like, no, it was Arya.
All you need is a young girl who doesn't use her face's powers, and then she just stabs him, and it's over.
and flies across all these. God, it's a God. I hate it. It has nothing to do with Jon Snow. It sucks so much. Anyways,
But it's not this.
hopefully George R. R. Martin will correct that in the books if he ever decides to stop being lazy and have 15,000 projects going on besides what he's promised to finish. But I thought it was a solid start, and I think it's interesting enough to keep me involved. I want to see some battles. I want to see some dragons. And I want to see a war between what potentially is set up Daemon's forces, Daemon Targaryen, and Rihanna Targaryen. Help us pronounce it, chat, commenters in YouTube. Now, that's super interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think it's a solid start. And I think that if you have HBO Max, honestly,
Definitely
there's
worth a watch
not.
for me.
It's definitely a watch, and if you don't. Maybe we could go a few more episodes in to see exactly how this is going to play out.
Yeah, because right now it's in the right track, but we know how their track record goes.
Yeah. I am somewhat comforted by the fact that DB Weiss and what's the other guy?
Benioff.
Benioff are nowhere near this, and I did at the end. They have an inside the episode. And I did disagree with a few things that they said in the end of the episode, in the inside of the episode. It's giving me bad flashbacks of maybe of DB Weiss and the other ones.
Just kind of forgot.
Yeah. So let's go ahead with final verdicts.
I'm gonna go with the strong 8 for me. I'm still a little skeptical, but I enjoyed it. It had an intrigue, it had action and mystery, so it has me along for the ride. 8 for me. Strong
Does
8.
does it annoy you at all, or do you roll your eyes when it seems as if we're getting a storyline about the patriarchy and how men will never back a woman and a female queen, and is it a male queen or a female queen, or does that stuff not bother you and it's like this is appropriate for the Game of Thrones world?
It's appropriate for the time period.
Yeah.
For me, in my opinion.
In the
But
fantasy
it doesn't
world.
bother me.
And it doesn't feel like we are repeating Daenerys or anything like that.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, not yet.
Okay.
So I give it a strong 8. I want to see what happens in the next episode.
Okay. Alex?
I have no idea. I think this is a super solid start, but it feels early to kind of,
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to judge these things independently because I mean none of the things in this episode were all that. I mean, there's some good action, there's some gruesome scenes, but there's not a lot of meat here because we're setting everything up,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of easy to look good as it did in a short period of time.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go 7. I'm getting some whiffs of some things that I don't like. Every time I'm reminded of the previous series, it's just like, and I know it's not the showrunner's fault, but it's just I've sat there and I've watched it, and every
Yeah.
time I sniff hints of season 8 or reminded that this ultimately goes nowhere
Mhm.
and nothing matters, it's going to lower what I think of this individual show. And you know, I feel bad for them, but ultimately they signed on this project knowing that, you know, it's not universally hated, but a lot of people didn't like it.
That's that's the worst part of this episode when they allude to the White Walkers. It's like, no, stop that. I don't like that scene.
So I think that this is, for me, this is a 7. Again, it's a pretty good start. You know, I'm not ready to say that this is like great TV that you can't miss. And I hope it just keeps getting better and better, and things just kind of, you know, flesh themselves out, and I get even more interested. But I'm gonna go with a reserved 7.
So I will also give it a 7 out of 10 because I think that it's hard for me, like the characters. Right now, I'm okay with the characters. I like Matt Smith's character the most because I think he has the potential to really ruin everything, cause a bunch of conflict, and make it interesting. But I don't really care about some of these other characters, the princess, the queen that never was, the mysterious, you know, Valeri's guy, and the Hand of the King, and his daughter, him trying to play his daughter to the king to get his own power. Like, this doesn't really feel like there's a Littlefinger or, you know, some of the interesting characters that we've seen in Game of Thrones. And so I'm worried that it may not reach the heights that we saw Game of Thrones season 1, 2, 3, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I feel like it may not have that potential, but hopefully I'm wrong. You know, we can get some good battle scenes. We can get some more dragon action, stuff that we had to wait so long to get in Game of Thrones. So it does have the potential, but a lot of the wind is taken out of the sails because we already know where it's going. I mean, it's a Targaryen civil war, and everybody fucking dies because in Game of Thrones there's two legit Targaryens and one half Targaryen, right, left. So we know where it's going, but hopefully the journey there will be worth it. I don't know how many seasons they plan for this, but with how successful
doesn't overstay its welcome.
with how successful this first episode is, I hope HBO doesn't get too fucking crazy with it. So, yeah, that's how we feel about it. So it surprised us, and that does count for something, considering how cold we were on this franchise. Yeah, all right. Well, thank y'all guys so much for watching. We'll talk some spoilers now in the next section. If not, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hey, guys, welcome to the spoiler section. It is Rhaenyra, right, Alex? Rhaenyra Targaryen. Rhaenyra Targaryen. We'll get used to the name as we go along. So ultimately, the story is about the secession from Viserys, who you either have the queen that never was, or you have the gentleman who is going to Viserys have a daughter, but is about to have a son. He thinks he's about to have a son. So he throws a big grand tournament in celebration. And even before he knows the sex of the baby, he's like, I am sure that it will be a son. And ultimately it turns out to be a son. But unfortunately, he had to make the difficult decision of killing his wife in order to try to save the baby.
Very gruesome.
Yeah, very gruesome. And honestly, I thought in the behind the scenes, what I mentioned earlier is behind the episode, they said that the director says it was, you know, he depicted it a certain way, like it could go either or he was like, I thought that his decision could go either way. He could save the life of her and let the child die, or save the life of the child and let her die, which is obviously the decision he's going to make because he needs an heir, right? But when the director said it, it was like, no, he knows she's going to die, and we're going to take, he's going to go with the baby because, I mean, honestly, they could have tried again. Yes, they've had several, stillbirths, but they did have one successful one, which was Rhaenyra. If I'm already forgetting her name. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The sacrifice is like, oh yeah, we could. I thought they were gonna be able to save the boy. Whenever
Well, they
saved
tried.
him.
They
And
did.
ultimately, he died shortly
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. So then it goes into the uncle basically, brutalizing. He's the city watch. And I'm getting a lot of interference. One of you guys take over.
Yeah, so he kind of takes over
Damon.
the city watch. They give him 2,000 guys, a small army. I mean, it's pretty insane how many troops they give him, and they give him kind of unlimited power because he's the king's brother, and he whips them up into like this super
Lindsay.
insane police force, and they put on a show the very first night, showing the people of King's Landing that. I mean, he cuts a nutsack off. He cuts hands off. He does all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, was that a nutsack or a
That
cock?
was a nutsack.
I thought it was. I was like, I didn't want
That's
to.
what happens when
I don't wanna fucking look at
you're
it.
an accused or a rapist.
Oh, a rapist. Yeah, they castrate you. So I mean, he put on quite a show, and it's really just kind of showing you that Damon doesn't fuck around. Like he would be like the warrior king type to take over, and the people would certainly suffer for it. And they talk about that in the small council.
He's got mad blood in him for sure. There's like no mention of mad blood. There's no mention of inbreeding that they're so famous for. I guess they're gonna save that for later. But yeah, so they do that, and over the course of this going on, the Hand of the King wants very much for him not to take over his brother, and so is trying to provide the king different options. And meanwhile, the Damon is in a brothel with all of his troops, and essentially does the most insulting thing by celebrating the death of his brother's son.
Heir for a day.
An heir for a day. Boy, I was like, oh shit. And then the scene in the fucking Iron Throne room, which they've changed the Iron Throne a little bit. It's still not the way it should be, which is really tall and high and thousands of swords. They just added a few more melted swords on the ground.
It looks goofy.
I'm like, nah, this is not working out. Just do it right or don't do it. Whatever. Leave it the way it
Accident
was.
waiting to happen. Just watch.
But I liked that scene because it was like he's fucking pissed. And I was like, fucking kill him.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
fuck that guy, right? And don't, and don't give him any leeway. And at one point, he even approaches the fucking king, and his guard are drawing their swords. And I'm like, do it. But it's like, dude, if you don't know that a war's coming at that point, then you're an idiot. So he essentially makes the decision that he's going to put his daughter in charge, even though he knows that much of the kingdom is not going to accept a female ruler, and people will back Damon. Now, so I don't know.
This felt so odd. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, and they're not super subtle about it, but it's kind of hard for you to the very first scene is, hey, this king knows that the kingdom's gonna be torn apart, and there's only two good people that he can select: his daughter or his son. And it's just like, well, it makes it sound like that a woman leader would be fine with Westeros. I mean, ultimately, he didn't choose her, but I mean, she wouldn't even be in the running if there was. How many people did he say that all of these lords from all over the place showed up, and in the finals was a woman and a man, and so later when they're like, well, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it is as it doesn't have the subtlety and it doesn't have the precision in the writing to not feel a little ham-fisted.
I did like this scene, though. Before this scene, there was the tournament. Let's talk a little bit about that. So, Viserys' daughter and Otto's daughter, Lady Alicent, who is going to have a major role if you go by the books, seem to have kind of a relationship. Was it alluded that it was like a lesbian relationship, or is it just really, really strong friendship? I'm not really sure. I never read Fire and Blood, so I don't really know. But I think there's something going on there between those two girls. They're at the tournament, and they're both kind of interested in this guy named Kristen Cole, who's just kicking everybody's ass. And they say he's a lower-born knight, and he's from like Dorne or something like that. And he's tries to gets the favor from Otto's daughter, I think. And so all these different factions show up, and you get Daemon, kind of choosing the knight he wants to fight. He's just like, fucking kicking people's ass, and
Beating.
he cheat doesn't he? I don't know the rules of jousting, but I thought you're
That's
supposed
cheating.
to.
You can't do
You
that.
Yeah,
can't
you can't
fucking
do that.
trip the
No.
fucking horse. What a
When you
fucking
are the
asshole!
brother of the king, you can do whatever the fuck you
Yeah,
want.
but
though.
nobody fucking says like, dude, nah, fuck this guy, and everybody would
Did you
hate
not
him.
see what he did the night before? It's like
Right.
no one's gonna say shit.
Oh, that's true. But he should feel ashamed of himself. Anyways, but so he eventually goes up against this Kristen Cole character, who I'm sure will play a bigger role later in the series. And I expected him to brutally murder him. You know what I mean? But it turns out, no, Cole wins. And fucking Damon has to kind of just take it. So that's going to plant a seed for
Yep.
future stuff that's going to be fun.
Watch his back.
Yeah. And then that's when, like, the son dies, and he has to, they have to basically cut the baby out of her, and like, it was a brutal scene. It was like ripping her belly apart to pull this child out, and it's like, oh man, it's crazy. They both die, and the king basically turns into a shell of his former self. He can't even bring words to his mouth. In the funeral, his daughter, the princess, has to rise up and take command, and she does. What is it? Dracarys or Dracar? Whatever the
Yeah.
word that she says that gets the dragon to do the fire. So they light his wife's fire, our body on fire, and it really invokes some of the good moments of Game of Thrones. Oh boy, did you guys notice this? They were trying so fucking hard with the music. It's essentially Game of Thrones music. They just take the
Yes,
theme
it
and they
was.
change a few notes and they just use it over. I was like, do you like us? Do you like us? Like the Vanilla Ice thing where he's like, yeah, well, ours is whatever, dude. You're using the same music.
The same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited at where this is going to go. It was a clever scene to have Damon not go into the council where they're talking about, the succession. And I kept saying to myself, why is this so fucking important? He's still alive. Like, he's in charge. Why do you need that? You know why it's so important? It's like, I'm the fucking
'Cause he's
king.
gonna get
I'm still
murdered.
relatively young. But I guess they had the council meeting because they hated Damon so much that they didn't want him to be the automatic person that would succeed.
Yeah, have you ever seen 13 Assassins?
Yes.
Yeah, so it reminded me a lot of like 13 Assassins, where you've got, the Shogun and the Shogun's brother who like tortures people for fun, and they need to set it up because they're worried about
if they
his
don't-
ambition, right?
Right.
So if Damon just kills him, we need to set this up so Damon doesn't become king, because
Gotcha.
you need to kind of nip it in the bud. Otherwise, he just kind of he's gonna be like, we don't put it past him that your brother's gonna kill you. They said everything but that.
Yeah.
So
And they even set it up that he's in trouble of dying early because they show a scene of some disgusting pustulous
Oh, it's
pustule
infected, whatever it is.
on his back. Yeah, and he's got some kind of disease that the doctors really have no idea. They talk about fucking just burning it off and shit like that. It's like you tell this is probably not going to work out. So he
Great
does
medicine back in the day. Burn it.
leeches. We should use leeches.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
And so Rhaenyra, if I got her name right, is basically chosen after his brother learns that the king learns that his brother's a fucking dick and was talking shit about his son and is just too ambitious and too brutal, and he's like, fuck this. So the lords of Westeros swear fealty. And did you see there was a Stark?
Yeah, Rick.
So there's like Baratheon and Stark and all these other guys. So that was fun. Yeah, and then Damien and his like mistress whore that he like confides into because he actually hates his wife back in the Vale. He says she's like extremely ugly, and he uses this kind of motivation. It's like, yeah, but I know why you won't name me, a successor. You talk about being my brother, but you're always keeping me at arm's length. You send me away. You don't make me the hand of the king. But he doesn't realize that he's a fucking
Not
dick,
fit.
and that's why nobody wants him around. So anyway, so he gets on with his lover, and they fucking fly off on a dragon, and it's setting up a potential badass civil war between these two with different alliances, mini alliances that can happen here. Like for example, that other guy. So again, they cast a black actor in one of the roles of the traditionally white, pale-skinned Targaryens, right? And the showrunners said it like, well, we didn't want to just look at a bunch of fucking white people or something like that. And this is the stupidest
Yes.
way
Yeah,
to
way to feed the
approach
trolls, you
this.
fucking idiot.
You're a fucking moron. Because ultimately, when I watched it, I didn't have any fucking problem with it. It's not a big deal in my sense. They're obviously changing some stuff from the books. For example, the princess is supposed to have the purple eyes. A lot of the Targaryens have that. They just kind of dropped a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. And a lot of people were making that bigger than it is, obviously, with the YouTube, sort of microcosm revenue outrage generator. I don't think that's a problem. I think he does well enough. He does seem this particular character does see Lord Corals or something like that, or Corin. He does seem to back Damien. So we'll see how that works out if
He's
they
all about fucking up the status quo, it feels like.
yeah, maybe kind of ruining things so that his wife can then maybe come into power, and we're gonna see how all this works out. Yeah, because you could just go on Wikipedia right now and see how it fucking ends and see.
You'll ruin
You
it for yourself.
well, there's already book readers. The book's been around forever, Fire and Blood. You can't really ruin it for yourself, which is kind of cool because it doesn't go into exact details on all of this. And then the show is probably going to change some things around as well. So, because I think at one point, Damon, well, we are in the spoiler section. I think at one point,
Yes.
Damon is supposed to marry what's her name? Rhaenyra? Rhaenyra?
I mean, they hinted at
So
it pretty
these two
hard. He's giving her
characters-
fucking Valerian steel and stuff, and
Yeah. So we'll see if that
Yeah.
comes to fruition.
I first saw that, I was like, wait, that's your niece? What are you doing? Oh, wait.
other Targaryens, you know what he's
Yes.
doing.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's. So I think the show will probably eventually get there, even though it's not mentioned here. I guess they want to reveal it slowly for mass audiences. All right, guys. Well, that's about all we've got. You guys want to talk about any other aspects of it we didn't cover here? I forget
No,
something.
I mean the CG was fine. Like it's I'm fine with the dragons kind of looking not great if they're saving all their money and the big CG stuff for like the really impressive battles and things. That's a common criticism I've seen. Is like, oh, this doesn't look as good. It's like, I mean, you're right, but
Yeah.
when you're doing the budget for these things, you kind of have to look at it like for the whole season. And if the big battles look cheesy, then I'm fucking right with you. Then they needed to spend more money. But as of
Yeah.
right now, I'm not caring all that much that some of the dragon scenes weren't that impressive.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point, Alex. Yeah, it looked awkward. Usually when you touch some CGI, I guess more money has to go into that to give it convincing, or you have to go practical, like build a dragon head or something, because it did look a little cheap on that. But everything else was kind of was fine. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they'll do the battle. You've got the Dance of the Dragons is what it's called, and it's essentially a big civil war between both houses of Targaryens. There's the blacks and the greens is where they kind of. So I'm curious if that's the colors we're going to see, black versus green, in some of these battles. And then there's sides that switch, and you look at all the different houses that are a part of each side, and you'll see that some houses were on one side and switched to the other, Greyjoy, Stark, all. So it's going to be interesting to see it all play out, and I'm wondering how long they plan to drag it out, since there is a definite end. This is not, you know, a series where George R. R. Martin has not finished writing it and has to hurry up and actually give an actual ending. So we'll see where it goes. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Let us know, what did you think of the new Game of Thrones HBO
enjoyed it.
series? And what was your favorite part? Leave it in the comments below for House of the Dragon. And we shall see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.